I'm feeling so positive. Look at all these faces. I'm loving it. I already feel that we're gonna win this. It's not just a cliche. We are gonna win this. All of us together. Yes. Right. I'm going to get on with it, and I'll speak at the end. Can I ask the vets to come up, please?
Good, you need.
Look at this. Oh, I feel empowered now.
So you should be.
Right, so, as everybody knows, our friend here, Anna, the Bussier. Yeah, so, and then we've got some vets. Obviously, we've got a lot of vets. We've got a few vets that's going to speak, and then Anna's going to speak. So, listen in, guys. So, who's going from? AJ? AJ's coming out.
Hello, York. You beautiful people. Guys, this is fantastic. I drove up here with a few of the guys in front of me, all the way from the South Coast this morning, and all I could think about really was this moment right now. Instead of talking to you on a screen, I'm talking to thousands, I think, of beautiful, beautiful faces, all here today in the name and united in freedom. And I guess that's exactly what we're here for, exactly what we stand for, okay, and that's sovereignty. I wanted to talk to you today about the power of connection. Now, when I started my podcast, I had this really big goal of trying to positively impact over 1 million people within a year. I've easily done that within the space of a few months. So now I've hit my target and set it my sights firm on reaching 10 million people positively. But what I want to ask from you guys, that if I can set a goal of positively impacting 10 million people, I ask all of you here today, when you leave, to go and positively impact just 10 people individually. Tell them what you know, tell them what you want for your future, tell them what future you want for your children, okay? And imagine the impact you can have if 10 people are positively impacted by each individual person right here, right now. Okay, the ripple effect will be monumental, okay? And that's all we need to do. Love, empathy, compassion, okay, and the will to fight. That's all we need to do. Now, okay, hear me now? Okay. I joined the military in 2001, and one of the reasons why I joined was to make a difference, okay? And just one person, I just wanted to make a difference. And you don't have to join the military to make a difference. I was fortunate enough to serve with some of the most amazing brothers and sisters that you can imagine, serve with fantastic people like you see stood in front of me right now, and we were sent to places around the world to make a difference, to stand up for other people's freedoms. Now, it's unfortunate that our very own government that sent us to these places are trying their best to take these freedoms away. Very, very unfortunate to see. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. My grandfather, who was my best friend, was the second man to land on Juno Beach on the 6th of June 1944, 8:10 in the morning. Corporal Bob Roberts. Yes. I often asked my granddad, whilst I was serving in the forces, what he would say to his guys when they were fighting through France, fighting through Holland and Belgium, on the way through to Germany. And he would always say to his men, "Gentlemen, when you grow old, you will tell your grandchildren what you did here in the face of tyranny. When you grow old, you will tell your grandchildren what lives you saved, what difference you made, and how you stood up to evil, how you stood up to tyranny, and you said, no, we will not surrender." And I stand here before you today, shoulder to shoulder with every single one of you, as do the fine gentlemen and women standing in front of me here. We stand shoulder to shoulder in solidarity as we say, no, we will not surrender. Now please, I ask you, connect with every single person that's here, left, right, front and back. Connection is so important. We win this in numbers, ladies and gentlemen, and in numbers, we will win. Thank you.
Hi guys, the next back to speak is our friend Steve. Hi everyone.
Hi, Steve!
Well, hang on. This is my second first this week. AJ very kindly invited me onto his podcast.
Keep it close to the stage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the middle of the spot. Just move a bit. Yeah, that's nice.
Good? Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Like I said, I never thought I'd be stood here 2 years down the line speaking to...
Take you back.
Hello? All right. See, amateurish. Right. That's thrown me completely. Another naked moment. I'll explain that. There's a thread to that.
Doing well.
Yeah. Cheers. Where was I?
You never thought you'd be here 2 years down.
Oh, yeah.
It's all natural. It's all natural.
All natural, yeah. So the reason I did the podcast, and I think it was extremely important, is the title is, are the global elites, have they declared war on we the people? I'd like you to go away and watch the podcast. It's extremely important because I've threaded military activity and pieced it together over the last 2 years. And the reason for doing that was to try and assist people to look at this as a war. Now the main reason, and the reason I actually thought this was a process that needed to be talked about, is when you know you're in a war, in a conflict, you can actually manage your expectations because you know at some point the war ends. And I can tell you, we are winning this war. So if you go back and look at the thread, the first day of the Ghislaine Maxwell case, the CEO of Twitter resigned, the CEO of CBN News resigned, and the CEO of Walmart resigned. These are events, since I've done the podcast, that you can add to the thread. And you can clearly see that we are in a war, and we are going to win this. Now, I've probably walked with most of you here through London since early last year. I was there in in September last year. being fronted by the TSG. Probably some of you here were there. Now, I saw, because of our training and Northern Ireland training and riot training, that was a complete setup. There were crisis actors there and there were agitators there. That concerned me, because I knew there was something being planned on the ground, and it was a direct attack on us, we the people. Now, the reason I've been active is because I have 6 children. I've got 4 children in their 20s and 2 under 10. Now, the one thing I'd like to actually discuss is the service of notices to the schools.
Yes.
I think it's very important. We've been extremely active in our county in Dorset. It's actually, to a degree, halted and paused the immunisation process for the 12 to 15-year-olds. I just found out this morning that the director of the immunisation team is actually resigned. And is obviously going to be replaced. Yeah. Now, I do have a message that I want to put out, and it's mainly to the military, the police, and the medical services. Now, the reason for doing this, we all paid for your services. Every single one of us.
Public servants.
Now, since AJ kindly invited me on his podcast and is currently coaching me how to publicly speak, I am. Yeah. So the point I want to get across, and this is statistically based, I actually looked at a paper that Lee Merritt, a neurosurgeon, ex-US military, put out some statistics in September this year. Over a 30-year period, there were 317 cases of myocarditis within the US military. I'll say that again. 317 cases over a 30-year period. When that paper was written, that was in September, their rollout started in January. So in 9 months within the US military, they had 1,113 cases of myocarditis. Now, my message is to the police, to the army, to the medical professionals that should be able to do the same research as we've all done over the last 2 years. Go back. If that is correct, bearing in mind 5 days ago, the government uplifted a new, a new paper onto the government website. Stating a new adverse reaction to the rollout of the jabs, and that is myocarditis. So please, I'm urging every NCO, middle rank, high rank, please, you have a care of duty to your staff, to all of us, to do the right thing. And the only right thing to do is stop the rollout of the vaccines. So I'll finish up there and I'll hand you to Craig.
Thank you. York?
I just want to thank Anna for volunteering me to stand up here, another first. But I have a confession to make. It was me that volunteered Steve, because I was too chicken to do it first. When she asked me, the first thing that ran through my mind, actually I'm not going to tell you the first thing that ran through my mind, to be honest. The second thing that ran through my mind was, what am I going to talk about? And that first thing was money, finance and banking. And then I spoke to the guys and they went, nah, not really. But I do want to tell you just one thing very quickly. We've worked out what the banks are doing. And the banks, if you've got a mortgage or financing anything, they're lending you your own money. Right? And I can talk about that another time. So I then sat there after the guys had gone, nah, don't want to talk about that. And went, what do I want to talk about? And then in great style, our government, who never stops giving, I saw that little clip from Javid, and he went, right, every 3 months, everyone's going to get a jab. Exactly. And I just thought to myself, right, that's probably just given us about another 500,000 people that are going to stand on our side of the fence. Away from the speaker. So my message is fairly short, and it really mimics what Gareth said a little while ago, and the other guys as well. We're going to have a lot of jabbed people that are no longer going to take any more. Yeah. The first one works, right?
Yes. The second one killed them.
Exactly. So we need to bear in mind that the numbers that we need, or that will help us win this, we need to be all-inclusive. And that does include helping the people that have been jabbed and no longer want to take it.
Yes.
Ah, yeah, sorry. I've been just reminded. I've got to plug the website. So, us veterans, what we're trying to do is we've got different veteran groups around the country that are independent of each other, and we've got a few that are, shall we say, stagnating under certain leadership. We'd like to, leadership's probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean. We'd like to pull them all together. So a few of us have set up a website which is veteransforpurpose.org.uk. Sorry, I got it wrong. That's the pressure of being up here. Veteranswithpurpose.org.uk. So please come and join us. All right?
Say it again. And say it
people
again.
like Steve that are actually active.
Say it again and say it again.
Veteranswithpurpose.org.uk. All right?
Another time. One.
So people like Steve that are quite active in getting stuff done, stopping the rollout of jabs in certain areas, are part of it. So come on board.
Yes, bravo!
I'm just going to introduce Mikey.
Hello everybody, my name's Mikey P. Can I hold your stick? No, you grab my shot. So, I like to try and get a different message across than a lot of people do, and everyone speaking always gives an amazing message. I like to try and just not teach. Teach isn't the right way. I don't like to tell people what you should do in any format, because whether you're telling someone you should do that in a good way or a bad way, you're on the attack. What I've learned in my lesson is to turn my finger around and point that finger at myself. 18 months ago, I was alcohol dependent, and I ended up, I wanted to be dead. I wanted to kill myself. And I feel I'm here for a reason. I had to lose everything to wake up. And I landed on my spiritual path with a face plant, and then dived down that rabbit hole with no safety equipment. The reason I tell that story is quite simple. I've learned a lot of things on my lesson. If you draw, get a piece of chalk and draw a circle around yourself. Everything inside that circle is what's in your control. Everything. There's not really a great deal outside that circle that is in our control, all we can do. We can certainly influence people. So a lot of people try and change things by going on the attack and telling people how to improve themselves. And what they forget to do is work on themselves and improve themselves. One of the most valuable lessons I learned is rather than doing that, is become the best version of me. And then when people see how happy you are, they ask why. And you tell them, pull up a sandbag and follow my steps. And they ask you to do that. So to bring that to current times, if you think about all these people running around with needles sticking out of every orifice, itching to get the next jab, all muzzled up to save the world, and they're miserable as shit. You can watch them going round and they're just dead in their eyes, they're just miserable. And then you look at all you beautiful souls and you walk around and you're happy, you've got a bounce in your step. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm drawn towards the happy people, the glowing people. Yes. And I'll talk to anybody that listens anyway. But I prefer to talk to the smiley, happy people. So as time goes by and they become more and more miserable, as all their families and everyone else starts dropping dead around them, which is unfortunately what's going to happen, and they're going to be looking at us. We're not muzzled, we're in the parks playing, we're conversing with our friends, we're having a good time. And they're going to want a piece of that at some point. Now, this is where the next little thing I want to bang on about is the window of tolerance. Because we all suffer frustration. We look at these muzzled up sheep and we call them names, we call them idiots, and we can feel ourselves getting quite aggressive towards these people. It's the wrong thing to do, in my opinion. Because if you think about it, when it comes to fighting, if you get in a boxing ring, one person's throwing punches and the other one's defending. As soon as that one throwing punches stops, the other one starts throwing punches, and the initial person throwing punches is the one that starts defending. So it's no point getting in arguments with these people. You can't fight fire with fire, the fire gets bigger, and you can't fight hate with hate, the hate gets bigger. The best thing you can do is love thy neighbour. I think it's even in the Bible somewhere. Even when you've got these people growling at you, calling you tinfoil hat wearers, anti-vaxxers, and all these other wonderful terminologies we get tagged with, don't react to it. If you get angry at them, that's your fault. If you get happy, that's your fault. Whatever mood you're going through, that is your fault. We're in an era of awakening, and one of those things, one of those responsibilities we have to do is pull up our big boy pants, put on our big girl knickers, and stand in our sovereign and take responsibility. And part of that responsibility is saying no, and not reacting to all the BS and all the hate coming our way. Give them love back. Fight that hate with love. One of the other big lessons I've learned is reframing the situation. Now, we can walk through these times hating where we're at, or we can reframe it and realise we're in one of the best times in history to be alive. Yeah. This is going to be one big page in the history books, because it's the people that win the wars that write the history books. So guess what? We are going to be writing the history books, and we are going to win this. And we're going to win this And write a little bit of homework for every single one of you when you go home, because we all think we love ourselves. Now, it took a lot of people to tell me a lot of times that I lack self-compassion. But then I realised every time I made a mistake, I called myself horrible names. And after enough people told me I've got no self-compassion, I looked into it, and I didn't have self-compassion. So I've done a bit of work on that. And what I realised on my journey is, it's not just about giving the love out. The more you love yourself internally, if you can find inner peace and pure inner love to yourself, everything that you reflect from that, everything that you give back out is love. And then when you're giving out love, guess what? You get it back tenfold. So really the key to this is hope. I think everyone turn around and give the person to your left a big hug. Come on man, share that love. And you person, give each other a hug.
I love it, come on.
Yeah, that's what's going to win this, guys. That was going to release right on the end of that. I'm going to hang up the mic and get kicked out of it. I thought I'd get into the stage in. A stage right. So last thing is I need to wind it in. Keep connecting with your people, keep sharing the love. Get your spiritual shields on, let the hug reflect off it, and just smile at their shitty faces and their horrible comments. Do the little picture. signs out, or you can call them Veterans with Purpose. Get involved in that, and also forourkids.org.uk, which is for amazing charities that are here for the greater good. If nothing else, everyone start connecting with them, connecting all your networks, keep spreading that love, keep spreading the truth, and together we are one. Right, can we have a round of applause for our veterans?
Thanks, Rex. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Junaid, stay in the middle, yeah? Yes.
Thanks very much, thanks.
Geza! Hey, darling, how are you, mate?
Geza Tarjanyi. It's beautiful here. It's horrendous on the other side, on the other coast. Lancashire's gone. Snow, sleet, everything. Rejoice, everybody. Blue skies. Well done, York.
Thanks again.